Hey everyone, it's Jed Joling with eXp Realty here in Southern Oregon. Today is Tuesday, April 16th, and I've got a Southern Oregon market update for you on what's going on with our local real estate activity. So right now between Jackson and Josephine counties, we have 1,053 actively listed single-family residential homes. In comparison to where we were a year ago, we're up 22%. Last year we had about 822 on this same date. Last week we had 114 new listings hit the market, 91 listings went pending, 57 closed, and 17 off the market due to expired or canceled listing contracts. And if we compare those to our 4-week average right now, we're down 8.5 on the new listings, down 7.75 on the pending listings, and down 11.25 on the closed listings. So overall, last week trended a little bit down from our 4-week average. In comparison to the same week last year, we were up 4% on the new listings last week. We are down 11.5% about on the pending listings, and we are down about 16% on the closed listings if we take this week of this year and compare it to that same week of last year. Overall, that's putting us at an inventory level of about 3.6 months of inventory right now. And out of the 114 new listings we had last week, 14 of those are already pending, which is representing a little over 12% of those new listings. Going over mortgage rates. Mortgage rates took a jump last week, and I'll explain why here in a moment. But our conventional 30-year fixed national average is now 7.5% today. Our FHA 30-year fixed national average is at 6.95% today. A year ago, that conventional was at 6.5%, and the FHA was at 6.1%. So both of those are about 1% higher than they were a year ago today. Now, I don't know how much you pay attention. I'm sure you do when you go to the gas station, but oil has gone up nearly 20% since the beginning of the year. And so I went back and I looked at the gas prices locally here for Medford, Oregon, which is in Jackson County. And on February 20th, the average regular gas price was a little bit under $3.50 a gallon. And now today, that average regular gas price is at $4.45 a gallon. So up nearly $1 in just a matter of 2 months, a little under 2 months. And so if you pay attention to the news, you might have seen this previous week that our March inflation report came out, and it was at 3.5% when it was expected to be lower than that. Mainly due to the fact that February inflation was at 3.2%. We're hoping to see positive inflation numbers each month, but January inflation was at 3.1, February at 3.2, March at 3.5. Now that does include food and energy, so when you do see oil and food prices go up, which everything goes up when oil goes up and when fuel goes up because of transport and shipping and whatnot. So less the food and energy, we were still at 3.8% on our inflation numbers in both February and March, but we're not making positive progress. So in turn, you might be wondering why I'm explaining this. This is what is going to affect our mortgage rates. So as soon as that inflation report came out that morning, I believe it was last Wednesday, I knew at that point we're not going to see good mortgage rates, at least for the next few weeks or a month possibly, maybe longer. And sure enough, mortgage rates jumped up that day, and they have been just riding higher. Obviously, our national average is nearly 0.5% higher than when I did a market update this last week. So the number one driver for inflation is oil and fuel. So that's when you see oil prices go up, when you see fuel prices go up, everything else is going to follow with, because that's the number one resource that is used to transport everything else. So it's just kind of wanted to point that out just so people have an understanding of how the economics with this works and how that affects you as a consumer and how it affects the mortgage rates that you're able to get. So obviously we've been hoping for better inflation numbers so that the Fed will want to make the rate cuts that they plan to make later on this year. At this point, they just take it day by day, and each meeting they go back, they look at the economic data, and they decide what they're going to do at that point. That's that's about a wrap of what I have for today's market update. Nothing too extravagant to report on. I wish I could report that we had lower interest rates coming very soon, but it's hard to say when the inflation is still just out of control. So I'm not promising that, but you guys all have a great rest of the week. Thank you for watching. As always, feel free to reach out to me with questions if you're buying, selling, or just general questions about real estate. My cell phone is 541-761-7770, and thanks again.